Königssee in Bavaria on a snowy Saturday morning, the final race of the 2013-14 Viessmann FIBT two-man bobsleigh World Cup. It's also the venue for the European Championships in two-man. Hello everybody, I'm Martin Haven. Alongside me is John Morgan as we get ready for the second and deciding run here at this home of ice sliding. John, what a wonderful venue.
Venue full of very educated bobsled fans that are here in the heart of Bavaria and Königssee. Beautiful. Here's our first heat highlights. Pretty surprising. Here's an athlete that you don't hear much from. Peter from Switzerland. He had Thomas Lamparter on the brakes. Lamparter, the former hefty brakeman, making his debut. And Peter might have had his best heat of his life. He's in 5th place. Here's another one of the Canadians, Lyndon Rush, Lascelles Brown. They were pretty impressive. They were in 3rd place at the end of the first run. It's not the last Canadian sled in the medals at the end of the first run. And we've had a Canadian, and now we got a second Swiss, Beat Hefty and Alex Bowman, second best start. Hefty made a little mistake on the entrance to Kreisel, or he might have been the leader. He's won 2 of the last 3 races. Hefty setting himself up for Sochi here in 2014, but very successful. Surprise of the day, Justin Cripps, Brian Barnett, Canada. I've been saying the last couple weeks this is a rising star, and from Canada, boy, did he prove me right today. The first run, started 4th best start time, but in his Eurotech sled, he flew perfect lines the bottom part of the track. He surprised everybody here in Königssee, and I'm sure including himself.
Well, there is the finishing order. Cripps 1/10 of a second clear. Only 2 men have won a two-man race this season. Beat Hefty of Switzerland is one. Stephen Holcomb down in 10th place is the other. Holcomb's not going to win from there. Hefty still might, but for Cripps, who'll be the last of our fast 20 to go on the ice in the second heat as they go in reverse order, there's a long wait before he might claim his first ever World Cup medal. And who knows, maybe that will be gold. Ivo de Bruin will be the first on the ice. There were 28 sliders in the first heat. The last of the 8, the last 8 of the 28 will be spectators joining the crowds lining the ice track here in Königssee, Bavaria.
Some of the athletes up top warming up. What a facility. Perfect conditions. The snow is cleared. Ice temperature's pretty mellow out here. I mean, there's 5,000–6,000 people are along the side of Lake Königssee. What a setting here, Martin. It's like going to the Montreal Forum to watch hockey. It's like going to Yankee Stadium to watch baseball. Here in Bavaria, these people know their sport of bobsledding.
Yeah, they do. There's a huge crowd down here at the finish area, and every single athlete is warmly applauded as we hear through the walls of our announce booth right at the top. It's a great looking location, and it is full of atmosphere. 20 sleds go into the second and final heat of the regular season, the 8th Viessmann World Cup for two-man bobsled. And first on the ice will be Ivo de Bruin of the Netherlands. John Jackson of Great Britain follows him. They were 20th and 19th in the first heat. And as we get down into the serious business of winning the medals, we've got some regular front runners, and we've got a couple of surprises in our last 10 sleds. With 4 wins so far this season, Stephen Holcomb, 5 wins so far this season. Stephen Holcomb in 10th place, not going to win it. Beat Hefty's won twice this year, could win again. But the race leader after heat 1 by 1100ths, Justin Cripps of Canada, could spring one of the sensations of the year as he has a chance to go for gold here in Königssee. Well, the Germans are 12th, 9th and 7th after the first of our 2 heats. The crowd will be egging them on to more, but perhaps not expecting as much as hoping for a big German result on this oldest ice track in the planet. The fast 20 from our first heat go into the second and deciding heat. Both runs count. Least elapsed time is the winner. This is Ivo de Bruin of the Netherlands. Their young development driver, still just 27 years old, with his friend from back home, Dempster Wintersberger, on the back handles of the sled, ex-track cyclist. As he says, by no means a brakeman. but knowing that he's got not a great start makes Ivo drive even better.
Rough season for Ivo de Bruin. He had such promise, but his relationship with the Dutch Federation is a little cool, and he couldn't get any of the brakemen off the four-man sled of Edwin Van Cocker to assist in pushing the two-man. He was the #1 ranked two-man driver up until the last 2 races, and Van Cocker bumped him in that position. Van Cocker's going to the games in both 2 and 4, and De Bruin will sit home not meeting NOS, or National Olympic Committee standards in Holland. Very disappointing year for him.
Yeah, his brakeman Bror van der Zijde is on the #1 sled now, and that's what's giving Van Kalker the start that De Bruin should have. De Bruin's got nice lines down the bottom of this track and got through the 2 key areas without too many dramas. That's the Slangengruber, the S is at the top, the Viper's Nest, and the Labyrinth down at the bottom, which is so critical.
600's faster than his first run. That's a good sign. The track's holding up.
Yeah, track workers here were working hard against heavy snowfall overnight and this morning, but it's nice and clear now. Last slide of the season for Ivo de Bruin.
Crowd rooting him on. Look at the push motion. The guy in the brakeman in the back. You're looking for the high knee drive and the powerful strides, and De Bruin will be the first man in. Watch his power step in. That's like a gymnastic move. You got to get in over. That's not easy. Don't hook your foot in one of those D-rings and pull the sled sideways out of the grooves. And now here in the exit of the 4 S's, one of the first pivotal parts of the track, he comes out too early and he pays for it with a skid.
Ivo de Bruin of the Netherlands is our race leader. European Championships, of course. That means that he, John Jackson, the rest of European nations are looking for some improvements. 5:03 start from Jacko with his rookie brakeman, Tony Olubi. First ever World Cup start for Toby. And he was a little nervy in the first getaway.
Yeah, and he had problems getting in the sled. It's only the second time the Jacksons made the cut. Brakeman, huge man. Well, watch him get in. He had some problems getting in. I mean, he's that much smoother. 5:05 start, 5:03 in the first run. But he had some real problems getting into the first run, and I got to believe that cost him some time. But Jocko, really good four-man. Not going to the games in two-man.
No,
which is
Lamin Dean from Great Britain will go as their only two-man representative. That's because of this Achilles tendon injury he had in July.
Yeah, he's had an Achilles tear, had it in the boot. He cannot warm up. All he can do is jump on a trampoline up top. And to see what he's done in four-man is absolutely astonishing. He's second place in Lake Placid, and his team gets great starts, and he's not 100%. And boy, he just lost a lot of time coming uphill.
He drops behind the Dutch at the line.
Yeah, 600s. So there's a lot of happiness in the Ivo de Bruin camp right there. Well-deserved, too, for what he's been through this year.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's every small victory, isn't it? It's a little step. And for Jacko, that's a disappointment.
Jacko's just getting warmed up for the two-man, or for the four-man tomorrow. Just what a red badge of courage for that guy to do what he's doing. But here's the start. Look at, he picks the sled way up. I don't like that. Some people say that doesn't affect you, but putting the pressure on the nose of the runners, and then, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. When you're going sideways at 75 miles an hour, you might not be accelerating. And this is into the Kreisel curve where you need to accelerate. Look at the camaraderie. Look at the camaraderie.
Well, Ivo won't be rubbing his nose in it, that's for sure. It's a minor win. Now then, can the Dutch stay in the lead? This is Dawid Kupczyk of Poland with Paweł Moroz behind him. Kupczyk making only his second World Cup start of the season. Been racing in the Europa Cup on European tracks, which is the second tier of sliding for men and women's bobsleigh.
Interesting point here. He's driving a Latvian sled. You can see it with the Latvian logos on it. This sled probably coming off the Europa Cup.
You can imagine it's had a little bit of a tough time, but it's a
better piece of equipment than he had.
Yeah.
Dawid Kupczyk 5 flat start in the first run. Pavel Mraz is longtime brakeman. 5 flat, 5:03, huge lead. Now let's watch the speed, that 42.4. That's a pretty good indicator of your start velocity, which is such an important box score in the bobsled at the top of the track.
He was 42 hundredths in front of the Dutch after the first heat. He's extended that. Ooh, rattles his way all the way down the bend away.
121.4, keep track of that speed.
Quickest into the Kreis.
He's got a huge lead here. This is pretty good run for David Kopchak. It might be one of his better
looking run than his first one, that's for sure. Much smoother down through the labyrinth.
He's never made the cut in the previous 5 races. He's got a half-second lead here.
4 tenths up.
Not only going to make the cut, he's going to finish no worse than 17:50, 47. He's 19 hundredths better.
Father Martin is his coach.
24 hundredths better.
Yeah. David Kupczyk of Poland is our race leader. 3 down, 17 to go here in noisy Königssee, Bavaria.
Watch the runner tips here. Exit of the 4 S's. Boy, you have to be clean. You have to be so meticulous. You really have an ability to lose all of your speed here. You got to hit a couple times, that's a given. Exit of Kreisel, slingshot effect down into this part of the track we call the Königssee curve. And oh, look at these pictures into the big sweeping left echo on. Good run for David Kopchak.
Yep. 17 sleds still to go. The second and deciding heat here in Königssee. Martin Haven and John Morgan watching the action trackside in deepest Bavaria. Nikolai Strati of Romania with Florin Krasiuin next up, as Poland's David Kupczyk is our race leader. Battle of 2 smaller nations in the sport, just 500ths apart after the first heat. And Strate, now 30 years old, keep the Romanian sled on an upwards path.
Did not start last week at the 2-man at Eagles, nursing an injury. 17th at St. Moritz, so he's right on line with what he's done the last couple of weeks. 5:02 start. You know, you want to break the 5-second start barrier to have a chance here. You'll see teams in the 80s before we're done today. He's only got 600ths lead over Kupczyk at the bottom, and going to need to be perfect. Kupczyk had good lines. These are excellent. As soon as I said that, speed 121.4, which is, he doesn't have the speed, he's going to fall behind. 75 miles an hour. Needs the perfect exit here to have a chance. It's down at 200s. He can catch him on the bottom with perfect lines. The track will reward you with good drive lines. Now we go uphill. Hip here, you cannot do anything wrong, and I don't think he's going to catch him. So I think Kupczyk moves up 1 spot. That's his best finish of the season.
Yeah.
2-man bob for David Kupczyk. Might be something to do with that Latvian sled he just got himself in.
You know, it looks like it's a bit old for the Latvians, but it's new for the Poles. It's like second-hand car lot here. Well,
Romanians finished in the top 10 at the World Championships here in 2011. I think it was a little lend-lease, though. I think the Germans gave him a set of runners.
yeah.
The drive here, look at the crowd, how close you can get to this action. It's why the track is such a popular place to come when there's a race on. Look at that's a normal hit, but look at the back end skidding. You can't have that back end skidding, you gotta be straight.
Some bearded Canadian athletes down at the bottom waiting for their sleds. They got a long wait though. Loic Kosteg of France now up with Roman Heinrich and recreating French bobsledding after retirement to Bruno Mijon at the beginning part of this century.
Gerard Christou is here, the long-time 5-time Olympian for France. Grenoble, he started. So I saw him and his wife
68.
last night at a reception. He's here very proud that the French are back competing, and they have 2 sleds in the 4-man competition in Sochi. But he needs to find a way to get these young athletes into the gym more, because they had the 20th best start. Ooh, and that's critical. 5:03, that is 42.5 speed. The speed wasn't bad, but he's going to erase all that speed with that type of skid.
Got it under control just before it hit the wall, so he may still survive. Good run out of the Schlangengruber and great exit onto the straight, John. Look at that.
We've seen him do this all year. He doesn't have the great starts, but he does have the ability to point the sled in the right direction. Speed, not the best. He's 200s behind. Kupchak on the bottom was perfect. This French sled's going to need to be perfect also. Uphill section. +6. He could fall back a couple places.
Yep, he stays away from the wall, but is he going to be third at the line? He is.
Third. Look at that. 2 places. So David Kupchak posts his best finish of the year going into Sochi. Boy, does that make him feel great.
Well, the longer you stand in the leader box, the better you feel. The French are disappointed. And that, of course, is the other side of the confidence coin. Well, you heard Kosteg venting his fury with his mistake at the start.
Yeah, he's going right to the winner's box to congratulate the Polish. Look at the get in here. Now look at his right foot. It looks like let's see if he gets in on time. Yeah, everything looks good here. And watch the sled just start to go to the left here. He doesn't have it, or he grabs the D-rings. Now watch the sled come left. That's right out of the exit of the grooves. He's supposed to have control. This is not good. He lost by 900s down below. That was worth 15 or 20.
Definitely. David Kupchak of Poland, Pavel Moroz on the right, are race leaders here in Königssee, Bavaria. Well, there is the lead for David Kupchak, 700s in front of Nicolai Estrate. Next on the ice is Simone Bertazzo of Italy, with Simone Fontana and John Morgan, this Italian, losing his way a little in the two-man, former race winner and multiple medalist in this discipline.
He was really coming on. 2007 bronze medal in the World Championships in St. Moritz. Then after the 2008-9 seasons, he was gold medals on his home track in Cesana above Torino. That track's now closed, so he doesn't get a home track advantage anyplace. Great driving. Gives up time at the start. Italian team is just suffering with athleticism, and that's not great speed compared to Kupchak, but he's got a huge lead. He's got 3/10. So I got to believe he cannot throw this away. The only way is a mistake on the uphill section. Maybe if he comes sideways here on the exit, and that's not sideways. He's going to lose back a couple hundreds, but this is going to be our leader, and he shouldn't be down here. He should be up challenging the top 10.
Well, the Poles are out of the leader's box, the Italians are in, but you're absolutely right. This is a long way from where Simone Bertazzo used to be in the world order. Italians have the lead here in Königssee. We have 14 sleds still to come.
Look at him snake through this Kelstein curve. What a challenge, and then the big pressure of Echo. Look at the angle here. It's a chicane, but it's got sidewalls. I mean, what a challenge that is. For two-man, you should see what it's going to be for the four-man.
Oh, yeah. It's like threading a truck through the eye of a needle. Tatsu on the right, not looking happy. Edwin van Kalker, another man who's in the doldrums this season. Definite medal contender in the last couple of years for the Netherlands, but really struggling. Bro van der Zijde, who came up through the ranks with Ivo de Bruyn, been snaffled to go on the Netherlands one sled. Ivo Danilevich there at the front of the picture, the coach, and the bear inside of these bobsleds, John Morgan. Not much in the way of creature comfort there for the athletes.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of carbon fiber technology, and there's a little bit more that meets the eye right there.
A little bit of snow falling down from the trees and from the roof.
This is the European Championships, and that guy behind you, the Czech Republic coach, Ivo Delanovic, he had the greatest small fish eat the big fish victory in bobsledding when he beat everybody in Cortina.
Yep.
Oh, that was 2007.
European champion from the Czech Republic. It was a massive day.
What a day for him.
Yeah.
Great coach. 495 start. I mean, Edwin van Kalker has had a tough year. A lot of press. He just barely qualified for the two-man competition. The Dutch Olympic Committee awarded him a spot on I think it was Tuesday morning. And it just makes sense. He's already in for the 4-man, but if he doesn't do the 2-man, he wouldn't get the 10, 12 practice trips that comes with the 2-man race and practice. So if they would have said, no, we aren't sending you this 2-man, that would have been pretty bad strategy. And plus,
121.5 top speed.
Plus, he deserves it. He's in a little bit of a slump now. Hopefully he can drive himself out. He's done well on this track before. Won his first ever World Cup medal on this track in 4-man. -9, accelerating away. So Edwin Van Kalker trying to put a good time down. He does, 50.30.
Well, the other side of it, of course, with the Dutch is that when the driver is in a slump, he's lacking confidence. The one way to guarantee kicking his confidence even further is to throw him out of the 2-man spot that he's earned.
Yeah, they did themselves some justice by giving him that opportunity to learn that track. Great sportsman, one of the greatest bobsled drivers that the Netherlands has ever seen, and carried himself well through a lot of distress this season, and boy, we wish him luck going into Sochi. He's very tall. Both of these are awesome athletes. Van Kalker, 6'5". Watch him get in his, I mean, he's not a small 6'5" either. He's big. Look at him get in athletically. And this guy behind him, a lot of athletes have a lot of respect for Dan van der Zee. He is really coming on as a world-class brakeman. Look at the arms come up. Choreography on ice. I love saying that term.
Yeah.
And now down through the Kettelstein curve, the bottom part of the exit of Kreisel. You have to be so smooth in here, so meticulous. Edwin was meticulous. That's why he's the leader.
Oskars Kiemermanis of Latvia, this young 20-year-old starting sensation. They found him somehow from decathlon, brought him in to drive this Latvia 2 sled. 3rd year as a driver, and what potential he's got for this team.
Tied the start record in the first run. Tied with a 4.79. They could go for it here and have the track record at the start. This is a 20-year-old phenom. 4.70, it's a start record. Look at the mistake he makes. It doesn't pop up as the track record at the start.
The record is 4.77, set by Oskars Melbardis in November 2011.
I take that back.
Yeah, that's so
but
close.
It still doesn't matter that mistake he made with the push bar out.
Look at that.
That's
Good drive lines as well. Imagine what he's going to look like in another 4 years.
121.1, not the best speed, but he's got a lot of time in the bank.
Second Latvian sled.
Losing 2/10 back. He's inexperienced enough, though. If he goes sideways on this uphill section here, Echo Vaughn right here. Watch this uphill. Oh, there's a little tap. He's got a lot of time.
Little brush, but he's still going to lead by 0.2 of a second at the line.
50.11.
3,500's better than his
Much better
first
second run.
Yeah.
Much better second run for this young phenom.
Track's holding up really well. Big thumbs up there from Bro van der Zijde as the Netherlands leave the leaders box.
Look at the crowd on hand. I mean, every single person there punches
break
the
man.
screens.
Virus Lieboms.
This is a big
guy.
mistake here. Look, it comes over and taps the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what happens when you're on the job training like this kid. But the push bar's still out. He's trying to get that down. That's you know, causing him some concern. Watch the brakeman here pop up here. Look at the hit. Watch the brakeman. Look at him come up. His seat comes up. Oh, you think it's easy getting those sleds down through
You
here.
get bounced out of the sled down there, even in a taxi bowl.
Down here in the finish, coming up out of the Echo Vaughn. You hit a little tap there, going uphill. That's a double mistake.
The guy's weighed 240 pounds. He's got 3 times his body weight pressing him down and still gets bounced up. Now, Francesco Friedrich, our first sled on the ice this morning. What a disappointment. 12th position for this 2- and 4-man junior world champion.
He's the present world champion, and I say he was a snowplow. 487 start. That's similar to what he had in the first run, 490. He's only 200ths ahead. He could move up 5-6 places. I really think the first time down, he had a snow issue.
Well, they just finished sweeping the track, so he should have had the clearest ice, and there was no major errors. He's only 400ths in the lead.
Ooh, that's that big mistake there. Same speed as the Latvian Kiebermans.
Yeah, Kiebermanis. I don't think they've got the right runner choice. It's a good-looking drive, and it is just not going quickly enough. This
is the world champion who's on his own German track. This is why I can't believe this is happening to this
young. Not even holding his
lead.
spot.
We'll see Christoph Long, and I'm sure is a deer in headlights, thinking about what happened to my junior world champion.
That is down to what the Germans refer to as Technik. They have got the wrong kit for the weather.
Oh, still in the lead from Latvia, Oscar!
He can't believe it either.
He can't believe it either.
You're very, very satisfied.
A German not making the top 10, and the guy's a world champion?
Yep. He's
Something
not even
wrong.
going to be top 12
Something
at this
wrong
rate.
there. Here's a big mistake, though. This has nothing to do with the track. He hits before the Kreisel, pushes him over in the middle. That erases all sorts of speed. He went from green numbers to red on the exit here. You know, this Kreisel, the TV doesn't do it justice. This whip around, the G-forces. There's his coach.
And Matthias Höpfner talking about those little taps, but yeah, that's tough. Next up is our second Latvian sled. We have a Latvian leader, and the battle between Oskars Kibasmanis, who leads, and Oskars Melbardis has been so close this season in the start areas and all the way down the track. The Latvians have got a stunning future in men's bobsleigh if these two guys stay in the sport. There's your leaders. You get Leibomb's on the right. He's a tall guy.
Let me tell you this, that Melbardis, the start monster that he is with Drieskens, won the last 2 consecutive four-man races, missed out on the triple trophy, the $100,000 prize going into this race because Holcomb beat him by 1/100th last week. But he's wounded. From what we understand, he only had the 3rd best start time in the first run at 4:85.
He's got a bit of a calf strain, so he's going to rely even more on the monstrous Daumans Drieskens behind him, one of the biggest brakemen in the field. He doesn't squeeze into the sled, he squeezes the sled out as he gets in.
Yep. Melbardis had long hair. He looked like somebody from Die Hard 2.
Yeah.
And then he had a haircut, we couldn't recognize him, and we found out that Barber is his brakeman.
Yeah.
Cut the hair off.
Hey,
Since he cut the hair off, he's won 2 consecutive four-man races. So
Gave him a racing haircut. It's working for him. He's liking it.
speed,
1:21.8,
great
top
speed. Great speed. You expect it from this. He's coming on. Another 23-year-old phenom from Latvia. And he's about 6'4", 245 or 50 pounds in the front seat. Back seat, he's even bigger. Wow, this is going to be the lead.
Yes, it is, by 0.2 of a second.
0-0.
Again, 3,500s exactly, faster than his first run. So not only is the track holding up, it's
faster.
getting quicker than the first run.
Everybody's 3/10 faster.
Great work by the track workers here. Mind you, they've been running this track since 1970. If they don't know how to do it now, they never will.
Look at him limp around.
Yeah.
He's hurt. That's right.
And you know, we're 2 weeks out from the opening ceremony.
Look at you can't tell there's any calf strain there as he gets in. But, you know, he should be 600-800s faster at the start, normal procedure. Look at the size of these two guys getting in this small bathtub and getting in. Watch his arms come up. Look at the size of the arms. He almost
fingertips are almost on the ice. It's insane.
Look at the way he points his fingers, his thumbs down. Boys, he got that technique down. Look at the runner tips here. Look how quiet the steering is. And you have to be quiet here in this S. The chicanes of all chicanes in bobsledding. It's not part of that track.
Daumans Drieskens on the right, Oskars Melbardis on the left. Our race leaders here after the first 10 of our 20 sleds in Königssee, Bavaria. Well, don't forget, wherever you're watching our broadcast, you can contact us via Twitter at Bobskelly, S-K-E-L-E TV, all one word, and we'll try and bring you up to speed on what's going on in the world of ice sliding, maybe answer a few of your questions. And if you ever get the chance to venture to a bobsled track, such a great view, John Morgan, I mean here, especially on that bend away, it's at the wall is at knee height. You're just leaning on the wall, watching the sleds whistle by at 70 miles an hour.
All the way up and down the track, the viewing areas are awesome. You know, it's like some of the stadiums in America, they built the spectator areas too far away from the field. That's what they've done in some of the new bobsled tracks. Here, they built it for the spectators to get real close.
Well, it redefines being courtside here, doesn't it? You get the whoosh of the air as the sled whistles by. And a great venue as well, and of course one of the other attractions of every winter sport venue is the Wurst, the Glühwein. We won't mention the donut stand-up by the coach's box at the start. Great venue, and Berchtesgaden just up the road, really one of the global centres of ice sliding. They've been doing it here for such a long time.
My first time here was in 1977 as an athlete in the Nations Cup. It was before the World Cup. It was a big money race that they ran on New Year's weekend, and the same type of crowds were here for that race. Skiing, hadn't been a lot of snow the last couple nights.
Yeah. There's your race leaders. Oscar Melbarnes,
He used to have long hair. Melbarnes on the left till the brakeman got the shears out and cut
You're
it all
right,
off.
actually. He looked properly like a die-hard Eastern European baddie, didn't he? Yeah, that's exactly what he was.
Since he cut the hair, he's been the best in the world at four-man bobsleigh.
Got a little bit of a mullet going on at the back. Business up front, party out back. Here's our race leader. Königssee in Bavaria, the 8th and final Viessmann two-man bobsleigh World Cup of the season. 10 sleds down, 10 still to come. USA's Stephen Holcomb with Kurt Tomasevich behind him. They are 10th after the first of our two heats. John Morgan, what a season he's had. He had 4 straight wins in North America and won the two-man last week in Eagles, a track where he'd never claimed a medal before.
Yeah, this is his 3rd different brakeman he's used on tour. Kurt Tomasevich, the veteran of the U.S. program, the former linebacker at the University of Nebraska, 10th year of the sport. And, you know, when he's winning all those races, he had the best start times over there in North America. Last week didn't have the best start, but, you know, was only 600-700s off. But his drive lines in Innsbruck last week were awesome. But he's going to need 121, 6 or 7 speed here, 75 miles an hour, 122.3. That's the best speed we've seen so far. And this is the World Cup leader. Holcomb, I think, has to finish in the top 8 to win the World Cup title.
Way clear of anybody's speed in the first heat.
Needs to be cleaner on the straightaway coming uphill. This could be the reason why he wins the World Cup title. He can't fall back and let Hefty get away from it. He does it. What a
1200ths of a second in the lead. He's in front of the Latvians.
Wow, that's 3700s better. Great lines. The start time wasn't that good in the first run. He had the 15th best start, and that's why he was back in 10th place. But
Talking to the engineers this morning again, they're constantly working on this sled to give him the feel he needs.
I don't know.
Getting better and better.
I don't have the point system figured out, but I think he's got to finish a little tap here at the end.
You talk, I'll count.
Look at the little steering adjustment there. Now he goes into the C-curve. Look at the tap, a little sideways there, but into the Ecovon. This is where you need the big speed. You're exiting going uphill. Holcomb, huge, half a kilometer better than the other sleds. That's why he accelerated away on the bottom part of the track. We're doing the math, but I think it's right on the bubble for if Hefty wins this race. I think we're right to the point he wins the World Cup title. Now our next athlete's top of the track here. Max Arndt, Alexander Rodeker. Arndt, good speed on the bottom part of the track. He gives up time at the start. There it is, 4:94. That's very similar to Holcomb. Now, Max Arndt and Holcomb were separated by 200ths. Boy, that's good speed, though.
Well, by my arithmetic, Holcomb, if he finishes 10th, it means that Hefty can only become World Cup champion if he wins. Second would not do. Hefty lies second after the first heat.
Big speed, 121.8, not as good as Holcomb.
But behind, still in the red.
I think Holcomb wins the World Cup title if Max Arndt does not match his time.
Well, Hefty is second, Max Arndt is not in the running for the two-man, even remotely.
I think Steve Holcomb wins the overall World Cup title right here. 4th best time, Max Arndt.
Oh no, he moves up to
9th. I think he's going to win no matter what now.
Hefty cannot overhaul him, so Steve Holcomb will win the Crystal Globe for two-man. And Max Arndt, another slump from the Germans, drops 3 spots, will not finish in the top 10. Francesco Friedrich will not finish in the top 10.
Unbelievable. Germans on a German track. And, you know, they aren't resting for the Olympics. This is the last race before the Olympics. Look at him shake his head.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. Watch his head here as they get in here. What camera action we have here with this hyper slow-mo. Look at his goggles. He doesn't have his face shield down yet. Look at his eyes.
Yeah. Gets in.
Helmet.
Watch the hands. Watch the hands. Helmet visor down. Hits the button for the push bar on the way to grab the D-rings.
But the brakeman's having some problems getting that last big meat hook in.
Yeah.
There
Obviously the sled doesn't swing enough.
Max Arndt, very good four-man guy. He's the World Cup leader. Could be a bigger challenge tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Holcomb.
Steve Holcomb, Kurt Tomasevich. Holcomb going to be World Cup champion this year in two-man. Well, next up, to save some face for Germany.
Wow.
And John, that might even mean only being in the top 10.
I'd never seen a German
Florschütz a
performance like this in Königssee. Very common to be 1, 2, 3 like they were in Winterberg.
I wonder what their weather
they
forecast for today was telling them, because whatever it was, I think they've been badly misled on their runner choices.
I've been coming here for 30 years.
Look at Kuska at the back. What a warhorse that man. Where's he gone? He leaps in, he vanishes. Kevin Kuska, 6'5" and 250 pounds, vanishes in the sled.
Good speed, 700s lead. Now he wants to accelerate here out of the S's. He's the most experienced driver in the field. Been down this track more than anybody else. 7 to 9, you expect that. Ooh, and bang, and that's expected. Those bumps are okay. 122 kilometers, he's got it. That means he should be accelerating more here. Should be get the lead up to 12.
Holcomb was
No,
quicker.
it's down to 3.
Bump there on the exit of the labyrinth. Could cost him a chance to beat Holcomb. He's behind.
The German crowd is going to be moaning.
It is a horror story for Christoph Lang, and Holcomb and Tomasevich move up another spot.
Never in my career on a German track have I seen Germans not finish a sled in the top 8, especially between these 3 athletes. You've got world champion, Olympic medalist. This guy won the silver medal in Vancouver.
That was not a 10th place run. They are just not getting the speed on the ice, and that is a kit problem, not a driver problem.
Lines at Chrysler were good. He had a couple little bumps here because the exit looks great, but didn't have the speed. He was about 0.3 of a kilometer down to Holcomb, and that might have done. Look at Christoph Lang, look at the coach. Look, he can't believe. Look at that's the most disappointed that man's ever been in this city or this town in his life.
Their best result is going to be a 10th place for Thomas Florschütz in Königssee. Chris Spring of Canada, tied for 7th spot after the first heat. 33 hundredths of gold. He is about a halfway to a medal from that. 1500s will see him in the front runners with Jesse Lumsden, the world push champion, behind him.
5th best start time, 4:89 in the first run. They should be within that, close.
Great
little drift there.
Drifts to the wall.
490. That drift, 43.5 is decent entry speed. That's down to 900ths already. And Holcomb and him were separated by 6. Still at 9. The key's going to be the 122 kilometers, 75 mile an hour speed coming up right here. Left your screen does not have it.
Holcomb could still advance another spot. The gap was small. He could be in the red by the time he gets to Echo.
It's still in the green. Oh, it's red. He's got an uphill section now. He's got to be perfect. Down to 2. That looked like a tap on the Echo Von curve.
He's going to be behind in the line. Holcomb stays in the leader's box. The gaps in this group in the top 10 was so tiny. He slumps 1 spot.
What a day for Holcomb. Winning the World Cup title. He's moved up 4 spots on a, he had a very disappointing first run. But Chris Spring, Jesse Lumsden, I tell you right now, the start, that sled drifting out of the grooves, I think cost him.
Well, he'll be remembering that error.
Yeah, so if they get this video all the way to the end, you're going to see him come out of the grooves. Yeah, this is where they made the mistake, is mistake getting in. And now watch the sled. If they speed it up, you'll see him coming out of the grooves.
Well, he gets in.
And right here, now watch the sled. They move it forward a little bit more. Watch this, keep it coming, and they'll see the sled come to the left. Watch, keep it coming. Now watch, look at the runners. You can always see them going left. Look at this. You see that going left?
Now he's grabbed, you see him, he's grabbed the D-rings, trying not to steer.
You know, good line all the way down the track. He lost all his momentum right there in that 70-meter mark.
So damaging to hit the wall when you're going so slowly. Chris Springer, Canada, is our race leader. Katie Eulander down there with the red hair. She'll join me in the booth for the men's skeleton call shortly. Meanwhile, teammate Corey Butner and Chris Langton, one of the two sliding Langton brothers. Look at him hoofing it off the top with Corey Butner.
Pretty good start in the first run, 491, 8th best start, 491 again, very consistent. Corey Butner, guy I call stupid fast. Sometimes he just, everybody goes, what? What did he just do? And other times he's average, but he's a former basketball player. He's really been coming on. He won a bronze medal in Winterberg earlier in the season. First ever time he was on the podium in Europe. 122.5, similar speed to his teammate Steve Holcomb. BMW sled, he's got this flying 1400s. It's going to be a major mistake here on the Echo Von curve coming up. Oh, he's high there again. He needs to be straight. Oh, he's got plenty of time.
Just about
1700. So
holding the advantage. The speed was good. And
49.86. Corey Butner
appreciates that drive.
3200's better.
Yep, same as Holcomb. 3500's better.
Corey Butner has had a great season. A couple bad heats here and there, but look at him wave to the crowd.
You think they like that?
Wouldn't expected that a year ago. Look at, he gets high there. Second heat in a row, he's high, and I thought he was going to come sideways here. Dives out, taps the left side here. Doesn't tap. He's got through there with a whisker of hair.
Yeah.
And then here into the finish line. Oh, he's late there, flopped off, but boy, he's fast on the bottom. Chris Langton, one of the two sliding Langton brothers.
And next up is our top US sled, but it's Corey Butner and Stephen Holcomb leading a 1-2 for the USA with 5 to come. The USA's Nick Cunningham, the top US sled after the first of our 2 heats here in Königssee, Bavaria, preparing to take on the track for the second and final time. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching the action trackside here at Königssee, and Andreas Treibel behind him. Big, powerful brakeman with a delicate touch on the ivories, a real concert standard pianist behind bull rider Cunningham.
Track and field athlete from UCLA, and Cunningham was ridiculously fast in the first run in Kreisel. The speed he had the 13th best start, 494, 493, 100th better, 42.9. That's a half a kilometer speed down, but bottom part of the track, I don't know if anybody had better speed than he did. And so he's going to need 122.7 or so to stay ahead of the American sleds, or 1-2 right behind him.
Good exit. He's 500s behind, drifting away from the start.
These are great lines. 122.1. That's not the speed of either one of the 2 American sleds that just came down. He could fall behind both of them.
800s back. Gap is still tiny. 800ths of a second is the difference between the US sleds.
Boy, tough exit there. He tapped on the exit of Echo One going uphill.
Corey Butner's going to finish in front. He
Best
tugs
time
his
he
head,
goes.
but he's in front of Stephen Holcomb. Corey Butner leads.
3 American sleds, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Their worst they could do. But that wasn't the run he had in the first heat.
Yep.
First heat, he was
Corey.
unbelievably fast for that type of start. Again, when you have the 13th best start, you can't make any mistakes. Start. See, that's what Scheiber just said, his coach. Here we are. Look at the vibration, the G-forces down there. Echo line uphill. This is the uphill section. So he comes over here, he taps the wall. And remember, the Corey Butner came over there, didn't tap the wall. Watch the duck their heads here at the finish, just for an extra 100th. Good coaching. Cunningham, though.
Yeah.
He's had a good couple of weeks. He's not going to be disappointed with that.
All three US drivers will race two-man in Sochi. Cunningham and Holcomb will race four-man. What about the Swiss? Two sleds in the top four here, and we're not even in St. Moritz. Rico Peder and Thomas Lamparter had a big start in the first heat, John, but it was all about the drive from Rico Peder.
11th best start in the first run, 493 with this monster in the back, Thomas Lamparter, who used to slide with Hefty. This is the first time we've seen him this year. Rico Peder just had the best heat of his competitive World Cup career. He follows this up with being the leader. You will see a huge celebration from his athlete in the bottom part of the track.
Good momentum, 43 kilometers an hour.
494, similar to his start. The first run.
Good speed, 63
Watch the
clicks.
runner tips here. Oh, a little early. Down to 3. Gonna need that 122 kilometers. That's a big hit.
That might really hurt him. Could be
He's
in the
got
red.
it though. He's got the 122 kilometers, 76 miles an hour.
300's up, he's going to be behind.
Oh,
as
he's
he'll
going to be
continue
close.
to go back.
I don't know. He still has a way.
These Swiss sleds are very quick at high speeds. The unique shape of the Citius Project
Good
sled really helps. Can he bring it back? One corner to go. Head disappears for the
Oh,
line.
it's still second. Still his best finish ever.
Yeah.
So Butler, top 4 for him. Chris.
Well, look, he improved by 300s, Rico Peder. Some of the Americans improved by 310s.
But still, best finish ever. Personal best. Give Rico Peder a hand here, Rico. No embarrassment there, man.
His World Cup results this season in two-man, 16th, 12th and 11th the last 3 races. He'll be no worse than 5th.
I don't think he ever finished in the top 10 before.
I'm not sure he did.
Look at the lines and the S curves. 4 S's up here. Look at that. What a transition from one to the other. Look at the runner tips. He comes out, hits too early. This is where he lost it. Other than that, he had a good run. Little too early on the exit of the S. Cost him, came over to the right side of our screen. But
3 sleds still to come here in Königssee, Bavaria. Martin Haven, John Morgan watching them with you. First of them in a bronze medal position after heat 1 of 2 is Lyndon Rush of Canada with Lascelles Brown behind him, the king, on the back of the Canadian sled.
Well, 489 in the first run. Lyndon Rush trying to emerge as the top Canadian pilot. The problem is his teammate Justin Cripps is leading the competition. 490 start, 100 slower. Rush started coming out of his doldrums in St. Moritz, had a good weekend there. Not so good last weekend in Eagles. But this would be an awesome way to enter the Olympic Games with a bronze medal for this veteran Canadian pilot.
Yeah, 4th in St. Moritz, his best two-man result of the season, John. Last year he was Canada 1, this year not. Good speed.
It's down to 11. There's still time to throw that 1100s a lead away, and it's coming up on the exit of Ecovon right here. Can he be straight, going uphill? Yes, down to 6. This is going right to the 100.
Oh, this is going to be very close. Could Rico Peder end up in the medals? Oh, maybe not. Wow, there were 300s of a second between 400s of a second between them in the first heat. There are just 100th between them in the second.
Boy, Lyndon Rush puts himself on the podium as he enters the Sochi Olympic Games. What a boost to your ego that is. Boy, but he was hanging on. Another 10 yards.
100th, you saw him say it there.
Look at the camaraderie here. There's no, look at these guys.
Nobody likes to see somebody struggling for performance.
Well, that guarantees at least 1 medal for Canada.
And of course, Lascelles Brown will meet his former teammate, Winston Watt, for Jamaica in the Sochi Games.
The top 6 sleds, look at the speeds on the bottom. Lyndon Rush can't match Butner and Holcomb. Butner, crazy fast. But top 5 out of 6 sleds right now are North American, and we're in Bavaria. We're not in Calgary, we're in Park City. And there's a Swiss and a Canadian to come.
We have 1 Swiss left. The Swiss could go 1-2 in the European Championships.
This is for the European Championship. It's a big deal. It doesn't sound like much to us Americans. The European Championship is worth a lot of money to these competitors in sponsorship, media,
Only 2 men have won a 2-man World Cup race all season. Stephen Holcomb has rather greedily snaffled up 5. Beat Hefty took 2 in Winterberg and St. Moritz.
Push monster that Hefty is. 481 in the first run. I wouldn't be surprised he gets to 479 or 80 here. 480, no surprise. 43.9, velocity, unbelievable into that sled. And he is a 2-man specialist. 4-man, he just does it because they make him. And he won the Olympic test in Sochi last year.
Great exit.
You can't do it any better than that. Oh, that's not going to bother. That's
and
a normal.
The same taps as Rico Pater.
Not the 122 kilometers, but I think he's got enough time in the bank.
1700s up.
Got a 16, yeah. This looks like, oh, that's a big hit there.
Into the labyrinth. Could be down into single digits at the next split.
A skid here could cost him dearly.
Keeps it off 16. The wall. Still 16. He's going to take the lead. He will be our European champion for 2014. Beat Hefty takes the lead with 1 sled to go.
Big deal
European
for Switzerland.
Champion. Swiss flags there, the VR, that's the region that he comes from. One of the many Swiss cantons, and he is our European champion for 2014. Thomas Lampard are there to congratulate him on the wall.
Big Beat Hefty. When I say big, he's probably 255. Look at the lines. Nobody's done it better than Beat Hefty right there in his city of Sled. It's like something underneath though. Look at the
flapping around. Yeah, that's around the axle fairing.
Surprised that.
Well, that'll cost them
something.
A 1/10 of a kilometre an hour in top speed, but Hefty there and Baumann with the beard.
Hey, and what a story coming up here.
Wow. Beard brand. This is the bearded wonder, Justin Cripps of Canada, with Brian Barnett, a World Cup rookie brakeman, never slid before this season. What a story could be on hand here. Leader after the first heat by 1100ths. He has not had a 2-man medal in his career.
Biggest heat of his life in the sport of bobsled. Brian Barnett, track and field athlete, they lassoed into the program. And Cripps, I've been saying the last 3 or 4 weeks in my commentary, this is a rising star of the Canadian program.
486 start, that'll make him 4th best off the top of the ice. 1100ths the first round advantage. Hefty started quicker, the gap is at 500ths of a second. Good exit onto the straight.
Wow, this was a brakeman just 4 years ago. Oh, that's gonna kill him. That's gonna kill the speed.
Has he got enough? 122.6. He's clear of Hefty by ½ a kilometre an hour. He could still win this. This could be a momentous story. 1400ths of a second. Justin Cripps is not clinging on. He is pulling away.
This right here needs to be straight. He can still throw it away here.
Cripps is going to win this, going away from the European champion. His first ever medal, his first win. Justin Cripps of Canada. A sensational first run, but an absolute barnstorming second drive. And look at all the Canadians down there. The entire team on hand to congratulate him, to welcome him into winner's circle. What a run.
Der Pilot Justin Cripps, der beweist auch, dass er sich wahrlich jedes Jahr rasieren muss. Jetzt voll aus und runter.
What a slide, what 2 great slides from Justin Cripps of Canada to win gold here, the last World Cup race of the season. Oh boy, how to announce you've arrived. And Brian Barnett, what did he let himself in for? Nobody told him when he signed up he was going to have to grow a beard to compete with these wild men. But he's gone into beard mode as well. And they taste gold, their first trip to the podium. What a game changer for Justin Cripps and Brian Barnett, for the whole Cripps team. Beard mode is winning gold. What are they going to do tomorrow in the 4-man? Now no longer does he hope, think, maybe even believe he can get on the podium. Now not being on the podium is going to be a disappointment for Cripps, but a pair of absolutely outstanding drives here in Königssee, Bavaria. Far and away outstripping his best career result. Cripps 5th last week in Eagles. Slew of 8th places mid-season showed the promise was there. And now everyone in Canada and Wim, the boss of Eurotech, there to congratulate him. So confirmation, first career win for Justin Cripps in World Cup. Bert Hefty takes 2nd and is the new European champion. Lyndon Rush 3rd for Canada ahead of Corey Butner. Rico Pater, the silver medalist in the Europeans, and the bronze medal in the European Championships will go to Oskars Melbardis of Latvia. And for the Germans, no European Championship podium. Their best result, Thomas Florschutz 10th, Max Arndt 11th, Francesco Friedrichs 13th. Whatever they thought and expected and hoped for today, none of it came their way. Well, it is always great to be on hand to watch a game changer, and that is what we've seen just here in Königssee in Bavaria. A massive game changer for Justin Cripps of Canada. Well, on Bobsleigh TV on Twitter, Haywood Cuddlam saying, who makes sure the push bar gets back in the sled? Well, on a 2-man, there's only the 1 push bar for the driver, and there's a little tab, a little button somewhere just hidden under the cowl. He will hit with his thumb as he's grabbing the D-rings. That should release the pin that holds it out. It'll snap back in. In the 4-man, of course, there are 2 handles at the back, and normally the brakeman, the guy at 4, will have 2 little tabs to hit before he hangs onto his handles deep inside the sled and buries himself. And it should all come in by remote. When it doesn't, usually it means the mechanism hasn't quite disengaged properly, and it's very rarely the fault of the driver or the brakeman not pushing the buttons. Well, you saw Justin Cripps and Brian Barnett looking pretty happy there in the leader's box. Winston Watts, old brakeman there, offering congratulations. King on the podium with Lyndon Rush, all red and white, 2 sleds from Canada and 1 from Switzerland. European Championship gold for Bert Hefty and Alex Baumann. Rico Pater making a 1-2 for Switzerland. Latvians in 3rd place, the Germans 4th, 5th and 7th in the European Championships. Well, turning into a beautiful afternoon here in Königssee. The sun is starting to peep through the clouds. We have men's skeleton coming up as well, don't forget. USA's Katie Uhlaender will join me in the booth as we talk through the action. Goodness, can't wait to hear what Justin Cripps thinks of that. I imagine he will be struggling for words. Six North American sleds in our top 8 here. The 8th and final Viessmann World Cup race of the season, and it is a US slider who claims the Crystal Globe at the end of the season. Stephen Holcomb, the winner, ahead of Bert Hefty. 5 wins for Holcomb, 2 for Hefty. Francesco Friedrich 3rd in the season-long points race. And lots of Canadians doing very well indeed there, as well as the US athletes. North American sliding, 2 tracks in Canada, 2 in the USA. Very strong at the moment. Strongest of all here today was Justin Cripps, with brakeman Brian Barnett from Canada there, down there on the podium. This big crowd at the finish area. Let's get down to the finish, and here as our top 3 receive their trophies from Peter van Wees of the FIBT. There are your race winners. Brian Barnett's beard, a work in progress. Cripps and the rest of the team had a bit of a head start on him. So here we go. From start to finish, top to bottom, in both runs, Justin Cripps and Brian Barnett had this under control. 2 big starts, 4th quickest at each, and then 2 superb drives. It wasn't about the start, it wasn't about the technology, it wasn't about the driver, it was everything meeting in perfect harmony. But Cripps pulling out a top draw first run, and despite the pressure, Bert Hefty breathing down his neck, drove away to claim victory. Two very happy coaches, a very happy Canadian team. They have a new winner in their midst, Justin Cripps. Well, let's get down. Join John Morgan and hear from them all now.
Kate, our bronze medal, and first time bronze medal this season, Lyndon, right?
First medal, yeah. We haven't won a medal this year so far.
Well, how'd the King do? You guys win by 100th of a second.
Yeah, you take it, I guess. So, we've lost by 100th of a second a couple times, so when you get there on the right side of that 100, it's pretty nice.
What a way to go into Sochi. Congratulations. Now let's go over to the European champions, TM Bert Hefty. Yeah, going into Sochi, you feel good?
Yeah, Alex did a great job, and we are happy to win the European Championship, so it's a good day.
You've had a good 2014. Congratulations. Now, okay, Justin Cripps, you know, what is this? Never been on a podium, and you come out and not only win, you win going away. Did it feel good, both those runs?
Yeah, it's the beard power, you know, it feels great. We came from our best result last week, coming 5th, and we built on that momentum, had 2 good starts from Brian and 2 solid runs, and that's what we needed to do.
Congratulations, what a way to go into Sochi.
What a way to go into Sochi indeed. He may look like Grizzly Adams, but he drives with a magical touch here in Königssee. Justin Cripps, our race winner. Well, thank you for joining us for this final two-man World Cup of the season finale. Sees Bert Hefty claim the European Championship and a brand new winner with Justin Cripps. My thanks to Alex Mann, to John Morgan, to the FIBT TV crew, to you for joining us. Till the next time, from Martin Haven, it's goodbye.